안녕하세요. 안정현입니다. Welcome back to Let's Speak Korean. I hope you look forward to seeing us every day because I certainly look forward to joining you every day. Always preparing myself with ways to teach you Korean the fun and easy way. And I'm sure Scott and Christine feel the same way too. Let's say hello. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요, Scott입니다.
안녕하세요, Christine입니다.
Scott, how do you prepare yourself for this program?
Well, I try to get together with my Korean friends and practice with them, and I also try to stay a lesson or so ahead in the book.
Aha, that's how your Korean is improving so fast.
Hopefully.
What about you, Christine?
Well, I haven't been here as long as Scott, but I still try to practice my Korean a little bit every day.
Good. Well, practicing your Korean every day, in addition to the 15 minutes that we spend together, is the best way to familiarize yourself with Korean. Now let's review what we went over last time. Scott and Christine, repeat after me. 박물관이 어디에 있습니까?
박물관이 어디에 있습니까?
박물관이 어디에 있습니까?
Very good. And now this time the answer. 광화문에 있습니다.
광화문에 있습니다.
Christine?
광화문에 있습니다.
Right. We learned how to ask where by using 어디에 and how to answer by saying somewhere에 있습니다. Now let's start today's lesson. Scott's been ahead of us as usual. Why don't we take a look?
Hello everyone. Today's my friend's birthday, so we're trying to get a little party ready for it. As you can see, we're a little busy, so I'll get right back to you. 누가 옵니까?
누가 옵니까?
당신의 여자친구가 옵니다.
당신의 여자친구가 옵니다.
Let me see.
Wow, it's beautiful.
I'm glad you like it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
또 누가 옵니까?
또 누가 옵니까?
제 여자친구가 옵니다.
제 여자친구가 옵니다.
Wow, it looks like all my plans worked out. She's happy, so I'm really happy, and hopefully she'll have a great birthday. Happy birthday.
Looks like Scott's a pretty popular guy. Do you have a lot of friends, Scott?
I'm starting to get a few Korean friends.
Good. Now, Scott bought a cake and threw a birthday party for his friend, and this is how a lot of Koreans celebrate their birthdays these days. But there's one traditional thing that they usually do, and that is they eat something for breakfast on their birthdays. Do you know what that is, Christine?
No, I have no idea.
Do you, Scott?
Yeah, oh, it's a kind of soup. 미역국?
Very good. Exactly right. They always eat this soup made of seaweed, and it's called 미역국. Have you tried it, Christine?
Yes, I remember now. I have tried it, and I really do like it.
You liked it.
Yeah, that reminds me. My Korean friends a lot of times say, "Did you have 미역국 this morning?" When it's their birthday, I guess. I didn't know what it meant, finally, and
Now
now
you
I
do.
do. Right.
See, not only do you get to learn Korean on Let's Speak Korean, you also get to learn about Korean culture. Now, why don't we get started? Hope you haven't missed out on that Let's Speak Korean sound. Christine, did you?
Actually, I didn't miss the sound.
Good.
And the answer is 누가 옵니까?
Yes, that's right. 누가 옵니까 is the expression that we're learning today. Now repeat after me, okay? 누가 옵니까? Scott?
누가 옵니까?
Now the word to watch out here is 누가. It's a combination of 누구, meaning who, and 가, which is a subject particle. So 누가 becomes the subject of the question. And instead of saying 누구가, you say the short form 누가. Now many different verbs can be used with 누가. In 누가 옵니까, 옵니까 is a verb. 옵니까 is a question form of the verb 옵니다. Both 옵니까 and 옵니다 come from a verb infinitive, 오다, which means to come. It's talking about a motion of someone or something that is moving towards the speaker. Now, why don't we take a look at some native speakers for some more practice, okay?
의사. 누가 옵니까? 의사가 옵니다. 경찰. 누가 옵니까? 경찰이 옵니다. 동생. 누가 옵니까? 제 동생이 옵니다.
Okay, now let's talk about how we answer the question, 누가 옵니까? It's asking who's coming. So all you have to say is who, followed by subject particle 이 or 가, and then 옵니다. Now we're going to talk about narrative sentences and interrogative sentences. Narratives are when you talk about something, and interrogatives are when you ask questions. Narrative sentences usually end with 다, and you can replace 다 with 가 and make it into an interrogative sentence. Okay, now let's practice. Let's say Christine and I are walking down the street and we see Christine's younger sister coming from way down over there and she's waving her hand at us and everything. So I ask Christine, 누가 옵니까? And then Christine answers. Christine?
제 동생이 옵니다.
Very good. Repeat after me this time. 제 동생이 옵니다. Scott?
제 동생이 옵니다.
Christine, one more time.
제 동생이 옵니다.
Okay. Now this time I got invited to Scott's house for dinner. I get there and there are 4 people, including me. And there are 5 place settings at the table. So I ask Scott, 누가 옵니까? And Scott answers,
크리스틴이 옵니다.
good. Like this, answers to 누가 옵니까 involve people. But the 2 answers that Scott and Christine gave me are slightly different. When Christine said, 제 동생이 옵니다, she was talking about what her sister was doing right then, right at that moment. But when Scott said, Christine이 옵니다, he was actually talking about what Christine will be doing in the near future. She will be coming soon, is what he meant. It's just like that in English. When you say she's coming, it can either mean she is on her way right now or she will be coming soon, okay? Now keep this in mind and take a look at focus in 1 for more practice, okay?
누가 옵니까?
남자친구가 옵니다.
누가 옵니까?
동생이 옵니다. 누가 옵니까?
형이 옵니다.
See, what we learned so far is fairly simple, but now we're going to try to make things a little more complicated. We're going to talk about some more verbs. Now, Korean verbs have different endings depending on when it is about and who it is about. Earlier, we talked about the verb 오다, and we talked about the interrogative form, narrative form, and infinitive form. Now, let's look at this chart to see what other verbs there are to learn. Take a look here. We have the verb 오다. It is used when the subject is coming toward the speaker. And we have 가다. It is used when the subject is moving away from the speaker. So it would be like the verb to go in English. Here's 보다, to see, 사다, to buy, and 자다, to sleep. Then let's take 오다 as an example and change the other verbs into narrative forms and question forms. Christine, you start. 가다.
Okay, the question form would be 갑니까? And the narrative form would be 갑니다.
Okay, this time Scott, 보다.
Okay, question form is 봅니까? And then the other form is 봅니다.
Good. Now Scott and Christine together. 사다.
삽니까?
Good.
And
삽니다.
삽니다.
Okay, now why don't you guys at home try the next verb, 자다, meaning to sleep. I'll give you a few seconds, okay? Is that a few seconds?
Yeah.
Okay, let's
They've
check.
got it.
자다, question form is 잡니까? And the narrative form would be 잡니다. Now let's practice these in sentences. You have 가다 and a picture of a father, 아버지. So combining those 2 words in a question and answer, you say 누가 갑니까? 아버지가 갑니다. Now, Christine, why don't you try this one? Here's 보다, to see, and 언니, older sister.
누가 봅니까? And the answer would be 언니가 봅니다.
Very good. Now, Scott, 사다, the verb to buy, and then a picture of a mother. Mother would be?
어머니.
어머니, very good. In a sentence now?
누가 삽니까? And 어머니가 삽니다.
Right. Now, verbs are usually the hardest thing to learn in a foreign language, and you just had your first lesson today. Just keep learning those rules one by one, and soon it'll be really easy. Now it's time to go see Vivian for today's alphabet lesson. Why don't we go and join her?
Hello, I'm Vivian Kwan. Last time, we studied the hard-to-pronounce complex vowels. Did you practice them? And are they still difficult? Yes, I know. Well, today, we're going to take a couple of words and study them. Now, they will have the complex vowels in them. Are you ready to start? Okay, let's begin. Our first word for today is 예의. It means politeness. Take a look at the chart. Both characters have the silent consonant ing in them. So each character is pronounced individually. Repeat after me. 예의. Okay, our next word is the word for company. 회사. So what's the complex vowel used in this word? That's right, it's 왜. The consonant hyut and the complex vowel 왜 were combined to become 회. Repeat after me one more time. 회사. Very good. How about the next word? This is 과외. And 과외 means tutoring. Here, we see two complex vowels, 와 and 왜. The consonant 기역 in 와 is 과. The silent consonant ing plus the complex vowel 왜 became 왜. One more time. 과외. How's the pronunciation so far? Okay, this time let's take a look at a little longer word. This word is 예쁘다, and it means it's pretty. It's a little complicating, but each character is not too bad. One more time. 예쁘다. Very good. How about one more word for today? This is a word meaning it's easy. 쉬워요. The consonant 시옷 plus the complex vowel 위 met and became she. The other characters are easy to pronounce, right? Okay, try one more time out loud. 쉬워요. Okay, that's it for today. Look around and see if you can read any Hangul characters around you. Now, practice makes perfect, remember? Okay, then come back and see us next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Vivian. Whatever you do, the first step is always the most important. Just think of today as one big first step. Keep practicing and you'll be fluent in Korean in no time. Now, Christine, you want to remind us one last time what today's lesson was about?
Sure, it was 누가 옵니까? And an answer can be 친구가 옵니다.
Thank you. Scott, we learned about verbs today. What different forms did we cover?
We talked about infinitives like 가다, questions like 갑니까, and narratives like 갑니다.
What would I do without you two? You make my life so much easier.
Great, thanks.
Thanks for joining us today. Keep practicing and we'll be back to see you again real soon. 안녕히 계세요.
안녕히 계세요.